Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. My name is Scott, and for this episode, I'm joined by my usual teammates. Ben, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Apart from that intro again. It always keeps looping on me. And we've got Tony. How you doing, mate?
Good evening, mate. All good.
Good stuff. And we've got a special guest this evening. We're joined by an experienced multi-format fantasy football manager, but this is his first time playing Dream Team this season. So it'll be interesting to get the thoughts of Martyn from Man On Podcast. How you doing, mate?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Good, thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Good stuff. Loving the funky shirt as well.
Thanks. Yeah. Bit of colour to make up for my decorator's background. But
yeah, is that the same colour you're going for in the background? Welcome to the pod. We had a couple questions with you first, so we can introduce you to. Well, we're streaming this live to our Patreon members, but then it'll go out to everyone else on YouTube after that. But just as a little intro, how long have you been playing fantasy football in general?
I mean, FPL I've been playing for forever, really, but it was only ever, mini leagues and very casually. I wasn't really aware of like an FPL community and Twitter and YouTube streams and all of that until sort of COVID, really. So yeah, during COVID, I got involved in Champman FPL for anybody that played that. Ended up making a bit of content for that and hosting the streams in the last season of that. So it was through Champman FPL really in COVID that I kind of became aware of like the fantasy football community and started looking at other games and thinking about FPL a little bit differently. So since then really, so the last sort of 2-3 years I've sort of looked more at strategy and looked into other games and other formats and things like that. So in some ways, a long history of fantasy football, but in other ways, not so much, I guess.
That's I think COVID was the start for quite a lot of people getting seriously into their fantasy football, because that's when I first stumbled across this podcast with Tony and Ben. You guys started during then as well, didn't you?
Yeah. I started the podcast during the pandemic. What else was there to do? You weren't allowed to go outside. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you start getting serious about fantasy football, even more serious.
That's when we all got hooked. And so what other ones are you playing at the moment? Because the podcast, you do FPL and Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So so I play Sky. So I'm in my third season playing Sky now. That was the game really after FPL that sort of got into first from like a Premier League standpoint. And I've played Gaffer since that launched as well. So that's into its fourth season now, I think. So so Sky and then Gaffer. So, or for anybody that doesn't know, Gaffer is the fantasy football game for the Championship. So yeah, those really. I had a go at Telegraph last year. I didn't really get on with it, so I thought I'd try Dream Team this year. And yeah, it's been good. Enjoying it.
Have you found that go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, how are you getting on with your Dream Team, and what do you like and dislike about that game?
Yes, it's been going pretty well. So I'm a bit, I think at the moment I'm about 280th, 90th, something like that. But I've had long spells of the season, sort of in the top 100, even in the top 10 at one point. So yeah, it's gone pretty well. I think what I enjoy about it is having the European games and the FA Cup games and things like that, because I've had to go at Champions League a couple of times and I couldn't really get on with that. So that appealed to me to have some interest in the European games. And then when I looked at the bonus point systems in pre-season, I thought, well, there's some similarities with Sky there, so you should be able to pick it up. And then I noticed that the boost, like the part of the bus boost, that's the same as Gaffer. So I thought, okay, well, I'm familiar with that as well. So yeah, I think it's the volume of fixtures I enjoy really. That there's always something on it, like through the week, and yeah, the point scoring I'm kind of familiar with, and the high upside point scoring, the variation in the point scoring as well. I just find it more interesting than FPL, for example, that's a bit static and a bit samey.
Yeah.
was going to ask, how long have you been running the podcast as well? Your one, so around sort of COVID time, would you say?
Yeah, so COVID. So say I started making videos for the Champman FPL stuff. I was just doing that sort of, off my own back independently. And then, the guys, it was Thomas and Darren at the time that had started the Man On podcast. They asked me on as a guest. And then I started doing the Champman videos through their YouTube channel. And then, once that kind of wrapped up after COVID, they said, do you fancy staying on and just talking about, other fantasy formats? So it's just from that, really. It's not from any sort of long history of like high ranks and mega experience or anything like that. It's just come about through the stuff that happened during COVID and making a few videos off my own back and just just the enjoyment of it, really.
That's cool. Did you know each other in person before, or is it sort of met online as well?
No, I didn't know them at all. It's just they were playing Champman FPL. They watched my videos. They asked me on to the Man On podcast, and then just went from there, really.
Power of Twitter, power of the internet.
Yeah.
So have you lads met up yet?
Yeah, we've met a few times at various meets. I think we've been to like Planet FPL meets together and other FPL meets. Darren actually lives in Bristol as well, so I've met Darren a good handful of times now. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Nice one. Do you have any questions, Ben?
No, I was going to ask you about how did you find converting to like the partner bus? Like usually you probably have 3 strikers or 5 midfielders. How do you find converting to partner bus and then having to come back out of it again, having used it in Gaffer before?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's I find Dream Team similar to Gaffer in that because as I say, there's variations in how you score points. It's like actually having 5 at the back, even if you have to have that for 3 or 4 weeks, it's not the end of the world because defenders can score well anyway. Especially if you've got like attacking fullbacks that can pick up bonus and get the chance creation points and all that kind of thing. So I think that helped, knowing that from Gaffer, because Gaffer's similar as well. That defenders do very well for bonus points, and certainly last season 5 at the back was popular for a lot of the season. So I think it's having that awareness that having in certain formats having 5 at the back's okay, and if you pick the right kind of players, it can score well anyway, and you don't necessarily have to rip your team up one week and then put it straight back again the next week. So I think it's that kind of experience helps, I think, in understanding the scoring.
Cool.
That quick. I'll shout out some of the guys in the chat. We've got Owen Higgins join us. Good evening. We've got Graham. We've got Nathan Wisby. Nathan Wisby's got a quick question for you. Just asking your FPL rank at the minute. I think it's Nathan's first time playing FPL this season.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, it's nothing too special. I think I'm about 250, 280k, something like that. Somewhere in there.
Kept a few chips behind in that as well.
Yeah, I've still got a free hit and a bench boost left, so hopefully can push towards the top 100k in the last few weeks.
Nice. Well, we'll get back to what everyone's used to with the old Dream Team. We'll look at the top point scorers for game week 30 so far. We'll just quickly brush over some of these, but I think I'll let Tony or Ben take the leader, seeing as they've both got him.
Ben, I had Palmer last week, mate.
Yeah, you still have De Bruyne in your team from Saka De Bruyne debacle.
Yeah, accidentally left him in.
Yeah, you thought you sold him, didn't you? And the deadline stream, you kept him.
Yeah, I'm reminding everyone. Come on, make sure that you've got your teams confirmed and your transfers ready. That you've done it. Yeah, and then realised after the deadline that actually I took Saka out and not De Bruyne, but.
Yeah, so De Bruyne 2 goals and assist, 20 points. I was thinking about bringing him in, but Scott wasn't backing me too much on De Bruyne because I think he knows he's going to get a rotation at some point or a rest, which he's right. But because I knew he's starting in the game early kickoff. I think it's 2 games this week, definitely. Probably get a rest next week, but I just fancied him against Palace. And I was toying with Kudus and like a McAllister or a Diaz or something like that. But De Bruyne is big game, Kevin. I got to get him in. Yeah, I just thought get him in.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking he might miss Luton. He'll probably play Real Madrid when he miss Luton and then play Real again. So I kind of thought, is it worth it? But yeah, if you'd have told me 20 points, I'd say it's worth it. You got him at the minute, Martin?
No, I was obviously had him on radar to bring in this week, but I went for Odegaard in the end. I just thought he'll probably play every game or damn near to it. So De Bruyne's up on Odegaard at the moment, but yeah, we'll see how we go in the week.
Fingers crossed tomorrow. That's I was looking at De Bruyne. That's so he's got 18 returns now from 15 matches, 4 goals, 14 assists. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And when then Watkins trolling everyone. So I think he's most transferred out player for the last 2 game weeks now because of that injury.
He's done everybody, hasn't he?
Yeah, right up there with 14. I've seen a few people kept hold of him.
Yeah, I did manage to do that. I did keep Watkins. So
you've got him currently?
Yeah, I kept hold of him. Yeah, I thought because I fancy that Villa have probably got the best chance of going sort of all the way in Europe. So I thought he was worth keeping hold of. So yeah, that was decent.
Nice.
The injury doubt on him, weren't it? So anyone looking to bring him in were probably put off by that doubt, and then quite a lot of people obviously thought, I don't want to risk missing out on a double game week player, so jumped ship.
People were asking us, weren't they, on the deadline stream, what to do with Watkins, so we're going, sell him.
Sell him. Put De Bruyne in though.
Apologies for that one. Salah done the business again. I've seen a lot of people with Diaz as well. He's been on fire. Any interest in Bruno Fernandes? Because no doubles for a little while, but in 32, is it? He'll have one?
Yeah, he's got a cracker, hasn't he?
Reckon you might see yourself going there?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. He's involved in everything, isn't he? And United, I mean, to be fair, I don't. It's like they're not very good, like they're crap, but they're a bit. I don't know. Watching that Chelsea match and then the Liverpool match, it's just chaotic football. It is madness. I mean, it's great to watch. It's bloody good to watch. I like it. I enjoyed it, but obviously tackles, shots, big chances created. He's always involved in everything, Fernandes, and great finish, by the way, for his goal. I know it was like more or less on the plate for him, but it's still some way out that. And I fancy him for that Coventry and Sheffield United double.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
Yeah.
Have you?
Go on. Sorry.
Have you got your 12th man still, Martin?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So
shooing.
I think Bruno's definite consideration for that. Although saying that game week 33, he's got Burnley at home, so I need to think about whether I'd want him for that week anyway. I suppose, but potentially. But yeah, it's a definite candidate. I think if it's not Bruno, it'll probably be a Man United player. If I decide I want Bruno, maybe for a bit longer, like I say, that Burnley home game, for that double, I could perhaps go Bruno and Rashford with that 12-man ship or something like that, or Bruno and Højlund, for example. But yeah,
they got nice fixtures, but it's 2 singles before the Coventry and Sheffield United game. Sorry, a single before and a single after, but they're both nice fixtures, Bournemouth and Burnley. Yeah, so it's interesting, because there's possible double game weeks for the teams that go through in Europe in game week 33. So it's tough, isn't it? You're going to only have a single game week player out of Man U player there. Well, you could have an Arsenal or a Villa or whatever. Liverpool could have a double. So yeah.
You were on the game week 9, wasn't it? Part of the bus. I think it was the same one that I did.
Yeah, that's right. So it was decent. It got off to a flyer. So I think I trebled Newcastle and double Liverpool. And then did they both win 4-0 at home in the league, or they both kept a clean sheet definitely in the
definitely
league?
one clean sheet for Newcastle, and I think Trippier scored, didn't he? I think was it
Yeah,
Burn. I think Burn might have got something.
Burn, Shah, I think they all did well for bonus. Like Shah, Burn, and Trippier all did well for bonus, and got the clean sheet in the league game. And then they followed it up with the 1-0 loss against Dortmund, didn't they? And I think Liverpool was similar. They kept a clean sheet in the league game, and then I think they won like 5-1 in Europe, which is a bit annoying. But
yeah, I think there was a Trent assist in that one as well.
Yeah.
Talking part of the bus, Ben. You see Pedro Porro down there with a nice goal. This sort of stuff always happens, don't it?
At least he didn't get a clean sheet.
No.
Yeah.
Did you keep Dubravka?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I sold him for Raya, didn't I?
Oh, at least you got another game.
Yeah.
Top 1K ownership. Many changes that you noticed, Tony?
There isn't really. I mean, Saka is quite lowly owned, really. 52% in top 1K. He had a flag hanging over his head, and there were whispers, weren't there, that he'd not travelled and a lot of off-putting things. But penalty goal, nice,
convincing one
cool,
as well.
calm. Yeah,
he didn't look that convincing with him recently.
Yeah, it was a convincing penalty. And De Bruyne, I've noticed obviously in the top 100 as well, because obviously being up there, keeping an eye close on that. De Bruyne's a bit of a differential, so happy for his ownership to have that low.
A little dip there for Palmer and Foden, I think, probably to be expected. We had most transfers in Darwin Núñez and Raya. Top 2.
How did he not score 2 or 3, Núñez?
Because it's Núñez.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. He always looks like it's coming, doesn't it, with him? It always looks like a massive haul is coming, but he's a frustrating one. I'm still happy with bringing him in, though. He's done all right. I think a lot of people on Raya now, though. Who's your keeper, Martin?
So it's Edison, which has been a bit of a nightmare. So I've had a bit of a run with injuries and suspensions. So I've ended up just leaving Edison in, really, because I thought, I've had other sort of fires to put out that I thought had bigger upside than changing the goalkeeper. So, but yeah, hopefully he was on the bench at the weekend, wasn't he? So hopefully he's back for the Real Madrid game, and that'll sort itself out. But yeah, I've been stuck with him in goal for the last few weeks, which has not been ideal.
On the bench picking his nose. Did any of you see that?
Oh. Picking his nose. What were we doing after that? Scratching his bollocks or something, weren't he? You're doing something else.
There was Ortega done a Cruyff turn. He received the ball back. Cruyff done a Cruyff turn past the player, and then they panned to Edison, and he just happened to be picking his nose. Oh,
you were having a right good route, weren't you? Right up there. Actually, and then they show it again. Then they panned back to him again, and I think he was yawning, like you could see his breakfast.
He gobbed on the floor.
Oh no, he spat up forward, didn't he? And then even commentator, she said, I don't think we'll be going back to Edison for a third time. Stay away from him.
You got the same, and you've got Edison, but you done exactly the same. Opted for a more higher upside player.
I do apologise, Martin. My run with keepers is whoever I put in has either been dropped or injured. So hopefully he's back for tomorrow night.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I won't spend much more time on the transferred out, but Ollie Watkins obviously trolling everyone. Most transferred out, banging 2 goals.
Some happy people there with Bowen, obviously with his injury.
Yeah. I mean, could he still make it? They're saying he's bruised. They're going to wait and see, but
he'll play.
Yeah, he's got to try.
It's too important in the match, unless he's really injured.
And then captains, we were sort of separate, weren't we? Tony was on Haaland, Ben was on Haaland, and I was a little bit worried, to be honest, watching that. You boys both happy with your choice?
You got lucky there with penalty.
Oh, yeah. I think Salah it wasn't one of Salah's better games, was it? He fluffed a few decent opportunities. I'm happy enough after Haaland only getting 10.
Yeah.
I'd have preferred that penalty not. If he'd have missed the penalty, that'd have been beautiful. It would have been -6 when it for captain is.
I was in two minds. I was in two minds at that point. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, and then United looking good. I just said to one of my mates, you just know they're going to get a pen or something, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'd just prefer the Man U win at this point. But yeah,
definitely.
went and got that late pen to save people. Who was you on there, Martin, for the captaincy?
Yeah, I'm on Salah this week as well. Yeah, I just thought his record at Old Trafford's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
the
amount of chances that Man United give up, I thought, that coupled with he's got the home game in Europe, isn't he? So yeah, hopefully there's more to come.
Yeah, at the halfway point, would you say Salah's now the favourite with Real Madrid coming up for Haaland?
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, Salah's definitely the favourite now, but big game player Haaland, isn't he? Go and get a couple.
It would have been a nice one. 0.1%. Someone's happy there.
Yeah, definitely.
Ben, do you want to quickly brush over the fixtures for us?
Yeah, so obviously Europe's starting now, so it's going to narrow the options down a little bit. You've got your Man City, who have got this. After this game week, we've got the second legs. So Man City will have Luton and Real Madrid. Arsenal's got Aston Villa at home, Bayern Munich away. Liverpool's got Crystal Palace at home, Atalanta away. Villa have got Arsenal away and Lille away. And West Ham have Fulham and Leverkusen at home. But I think next week it's all down to how these first legs go. So by the time we get to the next transfer deadline, we'll know who we think's probably going to go through or who's still in the tie. And obviously, if we think certain teams are through, they're going to have another 2 games later on in the season. So it's quite important to keep an eye on these European games. It can all change. Like, for example, Arsenal could have a bad result, and then we're looking at Arsenal and thinking, oh, they've only got singles after the Wolves and Chelsea double. So then you're thinking, defensively, you're going to probably want to jump on another defensive block somewhere else, because a lot of people are jumping on Arsenal at the moment because they're solid, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
That's just one thing to look at anyway. What
about that? Looking a bit further ahead, so like 32 and 33. Do you think you're going to go away from the European guys, or do you just, like you said, just wait and see who goes through?
32. I'd probably just stay near the European teams. I mean, obviously Palmer's on fire and he could bring him in, but the fixtures aren't great really on paper. But Man City in the semi-final, Arsenal away, Villa away, and then Tottenham at home. But it's double game weeks, so it just depends on who goes through, because there might be less options in game week 33. So then you'll be thinking, oh, that's the only double. Imagine if all the English teams went out, that'd be the only double that week. So it all changes all the time. That's the brilliant thing about Dream Teams. You can't it's not boring and the same thing all the time. It can change straight, like with all these European and FA Cups and everything. Who goes through? So you just got to keep an eye on the fixtures.
We've got that 33, currently only showing as a double for Spurs and Chelsea.
Yeah.
But you've got I was checking out your planner, you've got 33 is the first leg semi-finals, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So won't just be Chelsea, won't just be Spurs. You could have some, if we all make it through, the English teams, we could have some Euro games in there as well.
Could be Arsenal, Man City semi-final first leg that week if they both get through.
Yeah, big game.
We'll take it one game at a time. Who do we think's? If you had to say it now, we'll start with you, Tony. any English teams going out? I won't be offended.
No, I think it will be a City and Arsenal semi-final. I think in City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, I think we've got the three of the best teams in Europe. Real Madrid are a good team, but yeah, I think we've got the best sides.
I think it's West Ham who I'm worried about. Leverkusen have looked incredible, haven't they?
They've looked really good, really, really good.
Yeah, that's the one I'm worried about is Leverkusen. I think West Ham are probably going to be going out. I think the other teams will win.
Yeah.
Any shocks, Martin?
Yeah, you fancy Villa to go all the way, don't you?
Yeah, they've got Olympiacos or Fenerbahce in the semi-final.
Yeah.
So I think
they
they go away.
They got a good route, Villa, but yeah, I agree. I think West Ham have definitely got the toughest game. I don't think Bayern Munich will be as easy as some people are making out for Arsenal. I don't think it'll be a foregone conclusion. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people seem to think from what I've heard. But I think they probably will nevertheless get it done just about.
Yeah, I think they have to go for it in this first leg, get some goals, because when they go to Germany, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, as excited as everyone is getting, I don't think any Arsenal fan has forgotten our previous matches against Bayern. It is, as long ago it feels now, I still haven't put that to the back of my mind yet.
What time is it? 10 to 2.
Still too soon after all these years. Right, anyway. If you're enjoying it so far, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, we've got early access to the podcast. You can join us live in the chat. We've got our Discord chat server, updated player watch lists, exclusive articles. Ben, you've just chucked an article out, haven't you? Is that going on?
Yeah, the fixtures for April. Yeah, give it a look.
Check that one out. Link in the description below. We'll go straight on to our listener questions. So, Wisby kicking us off with best captain picks for game week 31. Martin, do you fancy taking this one first?
That's probably the boring answer, but Haaland with 2 home games. I think it's difficult to look past it, isn't it? I think if you're feeling really frisky, then maybe Bowen or Kudos is like a that. If I was looking for a punt, that would be where I was looking, but I think for me, it'll be Haaland, 2 home games.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I've gone for the boring pick in Haaland. Tony,
it's strange that you're going Haaland because I'm thinking more Salah Diaz with the Palace and Atalanta game, but it will depend. I mean, if Liverpool blow Atalanta away, Atalanta are a decent side. They're no mugs. But if Liverpool do, because they have the ability to blow anybody away, I just like Ben says, it does. Next week does depend a lot on these results this week, as how you're going to attack that double. But yeah, Haaland's a nailed for that Real Madrid game. Will he get a rest against Luton? We've discussed it before. He doesn't usually get rested, does he? But then he sat on the bench for 90 minutes the other week. But was that his rest? And then now he's going to play the rest of the season.
I think that's giving him a kick up the arse because he ain't been scoring.
Well, yeah. And to be fair, he missed a couple of good chances as well. He should have had another goal, I think. But yeah, ready for Real Madrid.
I fancy Foden next week because he's had his rest. It might be KDB's time to have a rest now, and then he plays the Luton game. Nice differential if you don't want to go Haaland. I think he'll play. We won't see the lineups, but because the Newcastle Tottenham game is the first kickoff. But yeah, I fancy Foden for that game week.
Yeah, good shout.
I just always want to pick I can't always find myself wanting to pick a penalty taker, and this Salah game felt like it was a bit justified because there can always just be that one thing, can't there? I see a couple soft penalties at the weekend, which always seems to be the way lately. So that's the only thing that puts me off of Foden.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like in my position, I'm way behind. I need to do something a little bit different. I can't just go with a Haaland or a Salah. I need to do something a little bit different. It could be explosive. Maybe the second or the third best captain for that game week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're winning your mini leagues, just go with the obvious one, like your Haaland or your Salah. But, yeah, Salah might not even play that Atalanta game, the second leg, if they smashed them in the first leg. That's one to keep an eye on.
That's like the problem with Haaland, isn't it? If they lose tomorrow, for example, or Wednesday, is it tomorrow or Wednesday?
Yeah, they're both tomorrow. Both games
tomorrow,
play tomorrow, which is a shame.
Yeah, if they end up like losing that one by 1 or 2 goals, I wouldn't be that surprised if he gets a rest at Luton. Do you?
Yeah,
that's the trouble.
Ollie Watkins. Oh, I feel like this is a better one for you as well, Martin, seeing as you've got him. But stick or twist? If so, for who?
I'd say definitely a stick for me. I think Villa have got the best chance of going all the way in Europe. So I think the fixture volume will be there, and they'll have the easier games on paper as well. So I think, like we said, if they get through the quarterfinal, they've then got, is it Olympiacos or Fenerbahce? So even though it's a semi-final, they've got the potential to win that well again. So yeah, I think he's a stick for me.
Tony?
Yeah, definitely. If you've got him, stick with him. I think if his fitness was more clear for this week, I think it would be a hell of a lot highly owned.
Yeah, I think it's a full house, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it just depends. Like I said, first leg, if they smash them in the first leg, you might get rested in the second leg. Like, it might be on the bench. But I think if you've got him, stick with him. If you've got like no other fires to put out, you maybe could punt something, because if it ends up being an Arsenal start and a Lille benching, like a bit like Foden this week, you could punt something else. But because then it's a single game week the week after. Do you know what I mean? In 32. So it's not too bad to jump off a little bit there. But yeah, I wouldn't really want to sell him.
Bournemouth home, I think, isn't it? The single?
Yeah.
That's not a bad one, but you want the doubles, I suppose, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have just kept him if it wasn't for the injury. So I think if you've got him, you keep him. But I don't think I'll be going back there. Not at the moment. DT Phillip. He's forgot to lock in his transfers this week. Always one, Philip. Dubravka to Raya, he's definitely doing. His formation's 3-5-2 currently, and he wants to go to a 3-4-3. If he thinks there's a striker that we think's worth bringing in. But his first question is, does he take Palmer out, as he'll want him back for the game week 32 double? Tony, would you be taking Palmer out this week?
Yeah. I think he will be coming out of my side, and then probably going back in, possibly for the double, depending on other things. But a quieter game for him against Sheffield United, which were a little bit surprising, expecting a little bit more, and he got hooked earlier than what I expected. I probably expected him to play 90 minutes. So they've got the Everton single, but you'd probably rather, in my case, I took out Foden for Diaz. So I would be looking for Palmer to Diaz, back to Foden for City's double against Luton and Real Madrid. Just a sensible move.
Did you see Palmer getting clattered?
Yeah, he did take the clattering as well. It should have.
That's probably what he said. He took him off as a precaution, and he didn't want to push.
It was a very hefty challenge.
That was a mad game as well, though, wasn't it? The previous game we went on to the 100-odd minute against United. So yeah, probably the minutes in his legs. What would you do, Martin? Take Palmer out or leave him in?
I think I agree with what Tony just said there. Really, I think it's probably maybe a bit of a hokey cokey if you can plan your transfers that way. If you've got the luxury, you think you can take him out and bring him back in again. I think that makes sense. I think if you've got injuries and suspensions and you're not keen on using 2 transfers to do that, then I think it's fair enough to keep him. But yeah, if all's looking good, I think maybe out then back in again.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, if you've got no other fires to put out, bring Palmer out. And regarding his second question, looking for a replacement then for Palmer for 1 week, you could go for if you want a 1 week replacement, could go for Kudus. You'll have Fulham at home and Leverkusen at home, and then he goes into a single. You can move back to Palmer for game week 32 if you want to do that. But there's loads of options. You've got Diaz. You could even bring in Nunez. Saka, Odegaard, Havertz, Rodri. There's loads. There's loads of double game week players.
And I think those same names run into his second part of the question for replacements, potentially for Bowen if he ends up being injured. The names that you have just mentioned are all fine.
All of them.
I might chuck Havertz in there again for a differential, maybe.
Another goal.
Yeah, looks like he's nailing that centre forward spot, isn't he?
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm not minding Jesus on that left side, actually.
Yeah.
He's looked all right.
He did well. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, he did well when he played on the wing for Man City before they sold him, didn't he? He played on the right, though.
Yeah, it's gone full circle.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't nail down the striker spot there, and we said to him he could come to us and be the striker. Well, it's happening again, isn't it? But
yeah,
I do like the appeal of him because he does put in a real shift defensively.
That is why he suits that winger role, because he covers so well. He's such a workhorse. I think he's brilliant, Jesus. Obviously, he's not a goal scorer. He's not like he's decent, but he's not going to get you 25 goals in the season. But what he puts in, the shift he puts in for the team, and his technical ability is very, very good.
Any other replacements? Possibly we'll call it Bowen / Palmer. Any other midfielders you reckon could be good for those sort of 2 weeks?
I think we've touched on most of them, haven't we? I think everyone's been mentioned there.
Yeah, we'll go on to the next one. David 87. Arsenal block, set and forget for the rest of the season. What do we think? Martin?
Yeah, I wish I'd come up with that idea a few weeks ago. I think, not having enough Arsenal defence is one of the reasons I've sort of fallen out of the top 100 and down the table a little bit, to be honest. So, yeah, it's a solid option, isn't it? I think, for sure. I guess it depends like what you want out of the rest of the season. I mean, it's going to be popular, isn't it? Do you think we're in a position now where if you haven't got at least 2, you probably don't want the clean sheet? It's probably that kind of situation, is it? But so you either go with it or you take it on, I suppose, depending on your risk appetite and what you're trying to gain from the rest of the season. But yeah, it definitely looks a good option.
Yeah, Ben, you're the nearest to it, aren't you? You're on 3.
Yeah, I've got 3 at the back at the minute. I don't think it's set and forget because, like I said before, it can all change, like depending on who goes through in Europe. But definitely for the next few weeks, it's worth bringing a few Arsenal defenders in and hope they go through, and then we can stay on them. Because if, like say, if Man City go through, Liverpool go through, Villa go through, then they'll have 2 extra games and then possible a final as well. And then you got Man City's got the FA Cup semi-final and the final as well, aren't they? So if they get through that, so the extra games there for them. So it just all depends how this first leg goes. It'll give you a bit more of a clue who's going to go through.
Yeah, you would be down on fixtures big time, wouldn't you, if they didn't go out this round?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, there's less. It'll be focusing only on the Premier League. There'll be like barely any rotation, so that I guess there is that plays into it compared to City and Liverpool. with Liverpool having Trent coming back. I suppose City haven't got that many defenders at the moment, though, have they? A lot of injuries. It might be a bit more set for them.
He'd never start. He'd probably play Kovacic at right back or something. He's never. You can never call what he's going to do, can you? And you never know when they're going to bounce back fit. John Stones turned back up from nowhere, didn't he? And he was just back on the bench, even though he meant to be injured. And yeah,
Ederson's been learning that inverted right back role. That's where he was that weekend. I think it's all right. Anything to add, Tony? On the
I just think that with the 2 transfers a week, you can quickly get out of it if you went for it and they got eliminated by Bayern next week. As long as you don't have other injuries and other big fires to deal with up top or in midfield, then you can quickly get back out of a block this year. Obviously, last year was only having the 5 a month, and you had to plan for a lot longer. Whereas this year, you can kind of get in and out of stuff pretty quickly. So I'm not against throwing a couple in there. Although, I like Konza, but obviously there's a single coming up after their double 31. So yeah, I don't mind that Arsenal block.
It feels like this season has been crying out for one. There's been one every season, isn't there? One that goes off. Is this the time?
I mean, they've been solid all season, haven't they? They managed to keep Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel fit all season. Kiwior has come in and done a cracking job at left back because Zinchenko obviously just plays 2 or 3 and then disappears again. But Kiwior has been... It's such a shame he was on bench over there. I'm thinking, what has he had to do all season to get dropped out? Like, he's been brilliant. But
yeah, I reckon saved for this one at the weekend. I see a lot of people saying Tomiyasu maybe at left back, but I think they'll trust Kiwior, I think.
Yeah, I think we've got to. He's been brilliant.
We've got Andy Barnett, who's got a question for you, Martin, specifically for you. In Gaffer, there have been a multitude of boosts over the years that you will have used. Dream Team used 3 different boosters this season. Part of the bus is the same on Gaffer, as you mentioned. Which 3 boosts would you like to see in Dream Team next year if the Sun decided to change its boosters for next year? It sounds like we've pinched one from Gaffer already.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hell of a coincidence, if not, it's exactly the same. I think the other ones I like in Gaffer. I mean, for me, I like the boosts to be big upside and generate different strategies for people. I think some people prefer the boosts to have like minimal impact, so like your week to week play like isn't upset too much by the boost. But I'm one that likes them to be big upside and create different strategies. So I think away days is one in Gaffer that could potentially do that for Dream Team. So that's double points for everyone that's playing away. I think there's usually multiple times through the season where that might look good. And that's got big upside. So I think that would be a good one. Jeepers Keepers is another one I really like with Gaffer, where every save gets 3 points for the keeper. So I guess it's slightly different in Gaffer, that one, because you have a bench in Gaffer and both your keeper scores count. But I think even with one keeper, with double game weeks, that could be a good one for Dream Team. And it's a nice one as well because you don't have to really set up for it. So it really is just pick a week. And it's a bit of fun hopefully watching the saves roll in. And they do 10 points for a penalty save in Gaffer as well. So I've had a couple of them over the couple of times using it. So they're the ones I like. The other one, I don't know how well it would work in this game, but there's one called Budget Buster in Gaffer as well, where players under a certain value in each position will score double points. But that is quite chaotic in terms of, so for your strikers, for example, you'd have a week where you wouldn't want Haaland, you wouldn't want Salah, you wouldn't want Watkins. You'd be looking at having, a budget front 3 with a double game week, maybe in an FA Cup week or something like that. I don't know how well that would translate, but it's certainly a fun one and a big upside one that's in Gaffer. But
Would you still want them kept? Because we're a bit split, aren't we? Like, I feel like I'd happily just see the boosters gone, I reckon. But do you prefer having them to not having them?
Yeah, I like having them. I like the sort of chaos and different strategies they create and the big upside. I mean, in Dream Team you get the 3, so it's a bit. I mean, in Gaffer it's even more chaotic because you get 9 through the season. The season is split into thirds, and you get 3 boosts in every third of the season. So they're really big in that. But yeah, I like the high upside ones that create different strategies personally.
That must be so hard to know how you're doing over the course of the season with 9.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. You've got to just play your own game and have faith in what you're doing a bit and not pay too much attention to the rankings. So, yeah, that all comes into it. Yeah.
We've got Jake Silvio asking does he claw back a 90-point deficit? Tony, how many points did you claw back recently? I think you're qualified for this.
Yeah, I think in the cash league, I think I were over 100 behind. Our cash league crept to the top before the Liverpool game, but Powell was back at the top after Salah's goal, and I think Nunez assist, weren't it? You've got to pick Cole Palmer as captain when everyone else goes Salah, and he scores 5 goals. I think to claw back 90 points, you've got to go a little bit different. Not too different with your captain, but not absolutely wow. Not a Sarabia and Nathan Wisby. But yeah, a little bit different. Someone that makes sense to you, but isn't the most popular choice that week. And 90 points over what have we got left now? 6 game weeks. 15 points a week, is that?
7 left.
Yeah, so 15, 16 points a game week could get you above. It's easily doable. That's one player having a nice haul each week over your rival. Yeah, it's doable. Be brave with your captains.
As long as you don't go the other way.
Yeah.
Can happen. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, agree. Like I said before, obviously picking different captains, but not daft ones. One totally second choice or something like that. Also, maybe picking someone outside the box who plays for a good team, like Bernardo Silva. So he comes into his own at this point in the season when, like, they need him to play against the top sides, like Real Madrid now. He'll play all the big games, and he'll be there, and he'll get you the important goals and assists. So like players that play for good teams, but they're not quite the talisman. They could do well for you.
About you, mine? You got anything to add?
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think another one I'd add is just I think there are some really good players. The likes of Villa. I think will go deep in Europe. So someone like Douglas Luiz that's on penalties, corners, free kicks. Players like he's good for bonus as well. Really low owned. So I think players like that have got the set pieces that are capable of going on a run where those set pieces lead to goals and then they get the bonus points on top. I think there's some good examples of that have got really low ownership out there as well.
Yeah, I like it. Ward-Prowse taking these goal scoring corners, something like that.
Oh, beautiful goal that was. But he's been quiet this year, really, hasn't he?
He started so well. He did start really well. Douglas Luiz, though, you mentioned, has been brilliant.
Yeah. He's just got his 10th yellow card, hasn't he?
Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
Didn't fancy us, did he?
He wanted to be playing for you, didn't he?
Yeah, I was going to mention actually in a later question, but I'll throw it in there now. But with that, we were talking about Ollie Watkins for next week. Douglas Luiz being out, Watkins pens as well potentially. Only for the Arsenal game because they've got a European fixture anyway.
Possibly, yeah.
Could be. Another
Tillemans
reason
has
to keep
been
him.
playing, hasn't he? Tillemans has been playing. He took penalties at Leicester, but I
Got a
don't
few
think
good ones.
I think Watkins will be ahead of him, surely.
You'd think so.
Martin will be
Yeah,
hoping
good
for
shout.
it.
Yeah,
I've spotted him in your team.
sure. Yes.
Charlie Choyne, we have. I think we touched on the 5-man Arsenal block, so we'll pass over that one. CCFC Jack 96. What moves do I make? I'm fairly happy with my team. Kelleher out ready for Alisson to return, or Trent in ready for his return. Bowen out for someone who doubles in 32, or Saka for Ødegaard, considering he keeps carrying a knock. And we can't see CCFC Jack's team on the screen. But what do you lads think? Because I'm not. I think you want to leave Kelleher and that swap to Alisson and the Trent move till the very last, till you know that they're definitely available, don't you? Just in case there's any setbacks.
Yeah, you cannot. Like, we had it with Salah, didn't we? We've had it quite a few players this season where even when they return to the squad or return to the team, they've come back a little bit early and they've had a little setback and then they're out for another 2 weeks. Yeah, don't be trying to like forward guess when they're going to return. Pick your team for the players that will be playing that week or most likely to be playing that week. Otherwise, you just get ready to trip yourself up. The Bowen one, obviously, it depends on his fitness. We don't know. We don't know about Bowen, but in 32, yeah, possibly is worth jumping off him. Maybe back on him if they manage to get through in Europe. Saka will play most games now, regardless of his knock. They'll be injecting him. They'll be giving him pills. He's the talisman. So
He said after the game.
Saka.
He said after the game, they said, "Oh, we saw like you went off," and he just said, "As long as I've got 2 legs, I'll play." That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Ødegaard. Did you bring Ødegaard in for Saka or Martin?
Who did I bring? I brought him in for. Oh, it's for. I can't remember, to be honest. I made it this week. It might have been for Sun, actually. I think because Tottenham had the single. But yeah, I bought Ødegaard in this week. I'm pretty sure it was for Son, just because Arsenal have got so many more fixtures than Tottenham over the next few weeks.
Yeah. You think there's any need to take Saka out though? I'm pretty sure he's all right.
I think that's fine. Yeah, I'd leave that.
Yeah. I think Kelleher will play in Europe anyway in game 31. 31 anyway, won't he? Because even if Alisson was back, so he should get 1 game.
Yeah, same with if you're looking to swap like Bradley to Trent. Trent's only going to come back and probably play 1, isn't he, to start with?
Yeah,
you'd think. DT Philip. So he says, so Watkins has only scored 2 goals this season against top 6 opposition, but has 4 goals against Arsenal in 7 appearances going into game week 31. Going into game week 31, knowing this, would you bring him in if you didn't have him already? Or if you had, would you be keeping or selling? I mean, we've already said, would we keep or sell Watkins, haven't we?
Yeah.
What do you guys make of like the old someone likes scoring against someone or not? Because I did it for Salah this week. We spoke about off air that he always does all right against Man U, but would you fancy?
Yeah, I captain Haaland off the back of that as well. 2 games against Palace, 4 goals. Obviously now it's 3 games he's played against and 5 goals. I always hold something like, because obviously, so Watkins is probably going to be up, say the last 3 or 4 appearances against Arsenal, very similar defence. See how players play against other players. If he might enjoy playing off the shoulder of Gabriel or Saliba, it does have a little bit of weight to it. Obviously, 4 goals against Arsenal in 7 games is a decent amount. And then if that little game is still tight and he's obviously going to play that little game, he's not a bad shout to bring in. Especially if you like say, oh, Bowen's going to be out a little bit longer. He's a good replacement for him, or definitely a good option.
I had to check the stat on the goals against Arsenal because I had a look, and it's actually only one in his last 5. So you go for,
so is that six in there?
Yeah, so I'm not counting the banging goals against Rob Holding and Cedric Suarez here. I ain't having that.
Yeah. What I love about this Arsenal now is you can just see how much clean sheets mean to them. When they like block a shot or anything, they go mental like they've just scored a goal. Like that's what you want to see from your defenders. Yeah.
I was listening to Planet FPL earlier, and they were saying that they reckon that they've got clean sheet bonuses. The Arsenal lot, the way they were celebrating. Yeah, they were going for it, weren't they?
They've been solid since they brought in that keeper from Blackburn, David Raya.
He has been good. Right, Plevna. So this season, more than ever, we've seen less clean sheets in the Premier League, extra minutes at the end of games, squad rotations, injuries, VAR, and then we've got the Euros in June. So do you think Sun Dream Team will take these facts into account for next season's game? Maybe extra points for clean sheets, 5 extra transfers for the season to use for injuries instead of boosters. Ooh. What do you reckon? Who wants it first?
I don't know about the extra transfers. I think we get ample transfers. 2 a week is ample. If you have more than 2 injuries in 1 week or a red card, I mean, that's just hard luck. I think we have plenty of tinkering ability. So I don't think they have to mess with the transfers. I think I've enjoyed having 2 every week and being able to go a little bit rogue, a little bit different. It should people do different things, and as Martin touched on earlier about like having the boosters that make people have different strategies and go different ways, it's better that way. So enjoy that. With the, I know he's trying to get at with the clean sheets, because if you've got games that are lasting 18, 19 minutes longer over the course of the injury time in first half and the second half, it's so much more difficult to keep a clean sheet. So I don't know about the extra points, but whether they staggered the clean sheet points. So they said at 60 minutes, if you have a clean sheet, you get 3 points. Then if at 80 minutes you've still got a clean sheet, you get a further 2. Then at 90 minutes you get a further 2. Maybe I don't know. Something like that might be a little bit more. More interesting. It is difficult. Like, these games are going on forever, aren't they? How many last minute goals are we seeing?
Yeah.
Fatigue sets in at 85, 90 minutes, and then you're still having to play to 112. It's it's obvious why there's not as many clean sheets. Although Arsenal aren't struggling, are they?
Martin?
Yeah, maybe. I was just looking just while you were talking there at the top scoring players in the game, and you do have to go a fair way down the list before you start getting to defenders, and then it is dominated by Arsenal. So maybe, but I suppose at the same time, I don't know. It feels to me that, you know, with the bonus point system, you know, defenders can still, or certainly certain types of defenders can still score well without the clean sheets. So I think I quite like that element as well of, you know, being able to pick a defender and not being, you know, so reliant on the clean sheet for it to go well. Like in FPL, for example, so many times the clean sheet's gone, so that's 2 points for them now. I kind of like that you're not as reliant on the clean sheet in this format, to be honest. But...
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Sky as well, isn't it? With obviously the defenders get a lot of passing bonus. Obviously, you get your tackle bonus as well, so they can score points from various ways. And we've seen, like, through in Dream Team this year with Porro and Bradley, they don't really need the clean sheets, do they?
Yeah, I sort of thought maybe like a passing tier or something would maybe there's another way you can approach it rather than do it actually based on the clean sheet. Maybe you can tweak the pricing a little bit, make the strikers harder to afford, make the defenders a bit more appealing. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think you want to tweak it too much, though, do we?
No. You want to start to get used to a new game again now. Like, if they change too much for the next season, it's just a guess again. Like, if they keep the boosters, keep it exactly the same. Maybe just sort the pricing out, because someone mentioned about Harry Kane leaving very late, left like a big hole, didn't it, in the pricing of the whole game, because he's somebody you would have in your team usually, 7 or 8 million, and all that money then ended up a little bit surplus because you didn't need him. You could just get a 3.5 million striker because Kane's gone to Bayern. So yeah, so if they sort that out, going into next season, and the budget's a little bit more difficult, and you do have to build budget, I think you've got a cracking game. I've enjoyed it.
Anything to add on the that question, Ben?
No, like I said, there's 36. Obviously, after the first game week, then you've got another 36 game weeks to go. So that's 72 transfers. That's plenty. I mean, it's a bit annoying now. You can't like save transfers, like roll them over. That'd be better. If you didn't use any transfers this week, you can roll over 2 transfers instead of that. Lose one and roll one. I think that's stupid. That you should be able to roll 2. Maybe no more than 4 one game week, but you should be able to roll 2 over. That'd be better. But yeah, I can see where he's coming from the clean sheets. I like that idea, Tony. Maybe like 60 minutes, 80 minutes full time. You get extra points. It's 6 points for the full clean sheet. I think Telegraph have a half time clean sheet, and I think you get 2 points or something. Half clean sheet. Right. I don't know if they still do it this year, but they used to do it. But yeah, that maybe something like that. But
Gaffer do that as well, half clean sheets.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot easier to do that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then that way as well, but it's half clean sheets, but to get the full clean sheet, you have to play to 75 rather than 60.
Martin, last year in Dream Team, you only had to be on the pitch 1 minute to get a clean sheet points. If your team,
really?
Yeah, you come off the bench and get a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, I used to have Danilo as an enabler in my team, and he used to just come on for Man City to shore up the clean sheet, to get the clean sheet for 5 minutes.
I was trying to think, is there an example of somebody that always did that? Like Shane Long always used to do for Southampton, always used to come on for 2 minutes. Like that, but a defender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
I'll always be scarred when that cost me a World Cup. That did. Mertesacker coming on in extra time, I think it was, in one of my mini leagues. Mertesacker come on to run the clock down for 1 minute and got the clean sheet in the final, I think it was. Yeah, done me. We'll quickly whiz over the teams and then go straight into the mini leagues. But Tony, you want to just go over points?
Yeah.
Your captains and your rank.
Yeah, 92 points this week so far. Decent start. Ederson in goal, didn't play. Gabriel, nice 8 points. Bradley 2, Van Dijk 1. Palmer 5, that's his game week done. De Bruyne, a lovely 20 points. Kudus 4. Saka 10. Diaz 11. Salah 11. Captain Haaland 20. My subs were Diaz in for Son and Kudus in for a benched Foden. Benched Foden. Yeah, benched Foden. Rank, I was as high as 25 before that Liverpool game. But yeah, dropped down to 34 halfway through the game week. So squeaky bum time up there with my transfers and that. It's all getting a little bit more stressful on a weekend when we're doing the live stream. You needs to be making sure that I have a press confirm. So yeah, it's going good.
You'll be keeping hush on the live streams soon.
I might have to. Am I at the top 21? Obviously, cash. No, it's my job, isn't it?
Quick one. So, remember to join us on the live stream. We'll be what's the deadline for next week?
11:30.
11:30. We'll be doing
Yeah,
that on
same
this
again.
channel. We'll be doing that on this channel. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when we go live. Ben, your team?
Yeah, 90 points this week. Decent. I brought Raya in for Dubravka and De Bruyne in for Porro. So, yeah, they're both, Dubravka and Porro both bang this week. But, single game week players. I've got De Bruyne and Raya to have another game. And I'm still up on the transfers, so I'm happy with that. Bradley and Van Dijk, only 2 and 1 points. Gabriel and White both got a clean sheet. And White got a yellow card right at the end, didn't he? Yeah, so I lost the point there.
Do you see
Go on.
Estupinian assault him?
Oh, here we go.
That was awful.
Oh, God. He should be sent off for that, White. That is ridiculous.
It's getting bad now, isn't it? You're having to lay on the floor to prove it. He just made contact with you.
Well, if you're Maddison, you can just punch people and get away with it
Yeah,
anyway.
you're right.
I was trying to look for that footage on YouTube. What? I didn't see it. What happened? Just punched him in the belly.
He just jabs him in the stomach.
Still don't get sent off, so you got to make something of it.
Yeah.
Where's that put you now, Ben? You've done another. Must be another big jump there. 90 points.
Yeah, I was up to 2.6k until I think Liverpool conceded. So I'm 3k now. Yeah, so I'm half in my rank. Getting there now. Top 1k is the target.
I've got 75. A little bit behind these guys. Went for Salah as the captain. Got me 22. A little drop from, I think I went from 288 to 296. So not really much in it so far. Raya with a clean sheet. Virgil van Dijk and Bradley a bit disappointing. But Gabriel again with a clean sheet. Saka 10. I kept hold of Foden. Hopefully he does something tomorrow. Kudus just a 4. Palmer with the 5. Darwin Núñez was one of my transfers in. Missing sitters as usual. 10 points for Haaland. And then, Salah captain 22. And Martin, got you up on the screen here. I think you're right near me, aren't you, rank-wise?
Yeah, we're kind of right next to each other. I think it's been that way for a lot of the season, isn't it? My game week so far. So I bought in Ben White for Porro. So Ben White's got another game to go, so we'll see how that goes. And then I bought Odegaard in for Son as well. So I chopped my Tottenham players ahead of their sort of a bit of a gap in their schedule. I've got a problem now with Luiz for this week. Obviously, he, as you mentioned earlier, he's up to 10 yellow cards now, so that's a 2-game ban. We'll see how he does against Lille. Then he's going to be on the chopping block for me this week. So it'll either be something boring like Saka or go for a bit of a differential. Just see how I feel. This stage of the season, how much I want to swing at it. And then I'm not sure what my second transfer might be. Obviously, I'll have a close eye on Bowen in the week, see how he gets on, and see how I feel about whether he's likely to play again at the weekend. It could be that my mind's kind of made up for me that Luiz and Bowen maybe have to go this week.
I didn't realise that Odegaard scored as highly as that in that game. 7 points.
Yeah,
free bonus.
Yeah,
that's decent.
Yeah.
Remember being sat on the live stream this weekend, Martin, and like you're saying, as your mind's made up there, you've got Luiz and Bowen, and they could well just be the transfers out you've got to make.
Yeah.
I said on the live stream, I just hope, I wish I had an injury, just someone to make my mind up, because I'm having to choose between 3 or 4 players to take out, and God, that's stressful. Obviously, at this moment in time, I feel like I've maybe took the right player out, but if Foden goes mentally against Real Madrid,
can't win though. We're all sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say, like as a new player, I found that's sort of one of the interesting things about this format. It is a bit of a mind game having 2 free transfers each week, because there definitely have been weeks where it's like, well, I really, it's kind of fine, but because you get tempted to make a change that you don't really need to. So yeah, it's difficult that sometimes.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, for so long when we had these injuries, you're like, oh, I just want my team to be fine with no injuries. And then the minute you get it, you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? What do I do with these transfers?
Have you used your max captain yet, Martin?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it wasn't great, to be honest. I think it gained me about like 5 points on just captaining Haaland. So it wasn't brilliant, but I tried to use it in a week where I didn't fancy Haaland to do much, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah, I think the same week as me then, because I did that, and then Haaland ended up being the best captain.
Yeah. But still got my 12th man. So
on to the cash leagues. So we do the top 3 from the league table. So in third, we've got C. Tobin. In second, our very own Anthony Sutcliffe. And in first, S. Powell. He's been up there a while. You going to catch him?
I hope so. Good player, though. He's always up there.
Tony, do you want to do our second chance?
Yeah, in the second chance league, third place is me. Second place, Garrett Walker. And top of the shop, our very own Baz McCormack.
Well played. Ben, want to do the tag teams?
Yeah, and third place, Cal Gregg and Lee Chapman. Second place, the Blackburn duo, Anthony Sutcliffe and Andy Barnett. And top of the shop, Baz and Ben.
Flying. Baz and Ben.
I won't put you through it, Martin, seeing as you're on your phone. It might be a bit small to read out, so I'll do the Patreon Cash League. We've got L. Giles in third, C. Tobin in second, and Anthony Sutcliffe is cleaning up in first.
Yeah, Baz is going to catch me in that. He's got his bench boost, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Have one of you boys got the League One handy? Because I didn't have that available to me.
Oof. Did James
didn't want to disturb James.
Well, I mean, yeah, his missus is in labour, so 1 second. Let's see if he did manage to send it in. Let's make sure he got his priorities straight.
I'll read the championship out.
Yeah.
Connor Tobin in third, Aaron Wade second, and Anthony Sutcliffe top.
Oh, we haven't got it.
Well,
no, sorry, no League One today.
Yeah. Sorry, League Oneers. You'll have to get yourself promoted to the Championship if you want to get red. Premier League in third, B. Coles. In second, O'Higgins. And in first, Baz McCormack. Smashing it. Right, lads. That's our lot. Cheers for coming on, Martin. It's been good.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Enjoyed it. Enjoying the format, and all your content and stuff's been really good. So I'm definitely, it's definitely got me hooked. So yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been good.
Nice. Hold on.
Do you wanna, where can we find? Oh yeah, hang on. So we've got something.
Yeah, no, go on, Martin. Give the plug.
Yeah, I was just going to say, quick reminder. Where can everyone find you guys on Twitter or on YouTube as well?
I'm part of the Man On podcast. So we pod every week about FPL, and we pod when we find time about Sky and about Gaffer as well. So you can find us at Man On FPL, and then our individual Twitter handles are, for example, mine is at Man On Martyn, something like that.
I'll chuck them below in the description as well, so you can grab them that way.
Yes.
Sort you out. Did you say you got the league table there, Tony?
I've got it. Philip has kindly sent it in to me. So we'll give him a shout out. In fifth, we've got Philip. Fourth, L. Chapman. Third, Greg Payne. Second, Lee Giles. And top of the shop, M. Warner.
Nice one. Well done.
Nice one, Philip.
Right. Well, like I said, Man On podcast, link will be in the description below. And if you are interested in becoming a patron, we'll pop our link in description below for that. But anything to add, lads, or should we wrap that up?
No, I just really appreciate you coming on, Martin. Nice to meet you, mate. Best of luck for the rest of the season, pal.
Thank you. Likewise. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, Martin. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you all later.